What up, what up, what up?
What up?
This is A2HH Live. This is not Mike D. We're filling in for Mike D today. He's got a family situation. So shout out to Mike D. Hope all is well. Coop on the late night tip. Nightcap. What's up, B?
How are you, Ron?
I'm good. Well, Ron, aka, what else do you guys call me besides Ron?
I mean, you're the producer of this show and the behind the scenes guy. And so I kind of wanted to just shout you out for stepping from the back to the front. I know you've been stepping to the front more because your show Pulse on the Streets is coming soon.
Right.
And so Mike had some stuff to take care of today. You know, you said you would fill in. So just shout out to you because we got to keep the party going. We got to give the fans what they want. So appreciate you coming out here and kind of doing the according to hip hop thing. You know, for those of you who don't know, Ron is usually the guy in the back that I'm pointing at or looking at crazy or that I'm blaming for all of our malfunctions.
Turn my mic up, son.
Right.
Yeah.
Our mic guy. So shout out to Ron for being here. You got a show coming soon, so this is just more camera work for you. I've been seeing your snippets. It's pretty fly.
It's just like I'm the backup QB. I'm like my man from back in the day. What, Steve Young was a backup.
Yeah.
Vinny Testaverde was the man back in the day.
He was. I was thinking Aaron Rodgers was a backup for a long time too.
Tony Romo was a backup.
He deserved to be a backup.
No, Tony Romo was the dude. I'm a Cowboy fan.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Jeff Hostetler. Remember Jeff Hostetler?
Yeah, from the Giants.
Filled in for Phil Simms.
Yeah, he actually won them a Super Bowl, if memory serves. He played in the Super Bowl game against the Bills instead of Simms. Simms won the '86 Super Bowl. Hostetler won the '90 Super Bowl. But you don't want to end up like Hostetler. Hostetler went to the Raiders and failed miserably, if memory serves, from my childhood.
Rich Gannon was a backup.
I give you some Rich Gannon action.
There
MVP.
We go.
Yeah. No. We got some MVP stuff going on. I know a lot of our followers just saw me on the Rap Roundtable. You want to start there? Or you kind of want to go?
Let's start there. We'll start there because that's just fresh on people's minds. We'll go to Rap Roundtable. So how was that? You know, you pulled up on Jarv, Sincere, and the crew. How was that?
It was interesting. It was a different space to be in because they actually interviewed me. So like the first segment of the show was an actual formal interview about my show, all the things that's coming. Shout out to everybody that's involved with all the things. We got Todd and Jared behind the scenes, Pebbles, Sade, my big bro Rico, T, everybody. So everything was really, really good. It was kind of funny to be in the space where I was getting interviewed about a show that I'm going to be doing soon. The guys asked some very interesting questions. They asked some very poignant questions. It was actually a really good interview. And I think we cleared the air a little bit about some things. It's like, you know, I told them I'm hyper competitive and I'm super competitive and I want to win at like all things. And so I kind of let them know too. It's like, you know, for me, it's like never like, not really like a personal thing. It's like one of those things I was pointing to them like, you know, because we always start off with sports talk. The 75th anniversary, when Mike sees Magic and he like, you got some shoes?
Right.
It's like, no, that's kind of my ethos like with everybody because it's like, I love this shit, but it's like, I'm also highly competitive.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to be in first place at all things. It's like, because that's the MC in me coming back out. It's like, I think the MC, you have to have a confidence quality to you.
Right.
Where even if you know that you're not the best, you have to feel like the best. And so I kind of take that approach when stepping into this space. But it was kind of good to talk to them, clear the air, be able to promote my show. I spoke to your show briefly when I hopped in the car with you, when we hopped into Tessie and started skating up. And, you know, we're building, I told him I want to build bridges and not burn them. And we just had a good rap talk, you know. Obviously, we're all heads, so we're not always going to agree on all things, and like that's okay. You know, I think it's okay to like butt heads with your counterparts and your contemporaries. That's why I was kind of speaking to when I was bringing up the Michael and Magic thing. You know, like Isaiah and Magic doing a little kiss before the finals. No, after that it's like it's go season. It's kill time, and you know, it was just kind of good to go up on there. I had a good time. I mean, I can't remember really a time that I went up on there and didn't have a good time, even though it's been infrequent. But I also, as I'm kind of like stepping into other things or all the things, I'm kind of going into more of a correspondent mode too. And so it's like I pulled up Dumb It Down and Old Baldy, who are two of our followers.
Right.
You know, them and their little brother, the youngest brother, the three of them have their pod, the Haters Ball. So it's like I pulled up on the Haters Ball last week and we had a hip hop convo. Pulled up on Rap Roundtable to have a hip hop convo.
Fresh out. Fresh Out's coming up soon. Right?
Fresh Out reached back out to me today. Might be doing their show Wednesday, time permitting, as long as we can pull it off after our show is done here, just reasonably for me. I do have some family duties to take care of as well. Still a father, even though she's almost grown. So hope to pull up on Adrielle and Sean with Hip Hop Talks.
So it's all love. It's all love in the hip hop space. So that's what Coop being on Rap Roundtable today showed us, all love. Even though Jarv does, he do be sub-dissing, he be sneak dissing a little bit, but it's all competitive love though, right?
Well, he brought up the fact that I did take a shot at them when I talked about us having like 7K more subs than them.
That's facts.
It was facts. They've caught up to us a little bit, so we need to keep our foot on the gas and on the pedal, and that's where you coming and filling in today really matters. The competitive part of me, it's is happy to see black men win.
Right.
But then there's a part of me, it's like, oh, the niggas is catching up. So we have to do something about that. But then there is the part of me that's venturing off into other things. So it's a myriad of emotions that I'm going through right now. But I'm trying to balance all the things. And it's like, for me, and this is probably the Libra in me. Right. It's like, I kind of, you can't be everybody's friend, but you can extend a hand to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And whoever don't take my hand is who don't take my hand. It's not personal to me. Because it's like, I know who I am. And I always feel like I'm the best, so I always feel like I'm going to win anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody. Shout out to Tony the Dome. Shout out to Adrielle and Sean at Hip Hop Talks. Shout out to Fresh Out. Shout out to Rap Roundtable for having me on. Right. And
I peeped the conversation. So it was a good, healthy conversation. It was good seeing, I think the audience liked it, seeing that we're not at odds. There's space for both according to hip hop, Rap Roundtable, Fresh Out, Tony the Dome, all these guys, man, so we can kind of build collectively. You know, and like the New York in them, as they said, they'll probably still continue the sub-diss and sneak diss, but it's okay. We understand it because it's coming from a New York brotherly perspective. That's how they talk, and we appreciate that, and we can still say we have more subs too.
We can say that we have more subs. It's like for me, I don't mind some good shit talking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want the shit talking to go too far. There have been some things that made me feel like it's like, and I don't want to speak to it on their show, but it's like I know some things behind the scenes have happened that have ruffled some feathers with some people that I have good relationships with. And, I'm not expecting those people to turn around and have the best relationship with Rap Roundtable. You know what I mean? Because like I said, not everybody's going to get along. Like all these rappers don't get along. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like all ball players don't get along. But for me, as I step into all the things, it's like, no, I want to be able to pull up on everybody and talk about this rap shit and talk about this music thing, because it's like, well, as you know from behind the scenes, my show isn't totally dedicated towards music.
Right. It's all the things.
It's all the things. It's not just hip hop, but I still want spaces in a hip hop space. And I'm kind of enjoying my role, and I'm realizing that it's like I've affected and influenced other podcasts, other followers. Like Adrielle and Sean were followers of this show. Dumb It Down and Old Baldy were followers of this show. Rap Roundtable has been following us since their inception. Fresh Out's been following us since their inception. So it's like I'm I don't want to come off as arrogant, but I feel like I'm becoming a leader in this space, and it's like I'm going to start behaving as such as well.
Right. I feel you. So shout out to Rap Roundtable. Shout out to everybody in the space. Continue doing y'all thing. Let's move on to something you and Mike do all the time.
Right.
Since I'm in his chair today, let's keep it consistent. Let's talk some sports real quick.
Okay.
Now, your man this week, because I'm behind the board. I watch every show.
Right.
You had a lot of Lamar Jackson talk. What say you, sir, on Lamar Jackson this week?
First of all, I think before we talk about Lamar Jackson, we need to talk about the fact that Myles Garrett is the Defensive Player of the Year, and he showed why yesterday. And so, although Deshaun Watson is starting to look more like Deshaun Watson,
okay,
when you have a disruptor as a pass rusher the level of a Myles Garrett, he can literally change the game. I'm not saying that he's Reggie White, but he's giving shades of Reggie White this year, and that alone makes Cleveland a threat if Deshaun Watson can be a semblance of Deshaun Watson. Lamar had a bad game. Baltimore totally blew that game.
Yes.
They should have won that game. What scares me about Baltimore is that all 3 games that they've lost, they damn sure should have won.
Right.
So they should be undefeated right now.
Right.
And so when you make those type of mistakes, it usually goes back to 2 people: coach, quarterback. And so Harbaugh and Lamar have to fucking do better. I'm still picking them. Because to be honest, the team I was most worried about did similar things, and that's Cincinnati.
And they play each other Thursday.
And they both need this win.
Have to have. Well.
No, they both.
Cincinnati needs it more.
Only by a game, because here's the reality of the matter: is that if I'm not mistaken, Cincinnati and Cleveland now have the same record.
They might.
And so Cleveland could actually find themselves at this top of this division very shortly.
Right.
If Cincinnati were to beat Baltimore and even out that series, and Cleveland, and Baltimore are a wash, Cleveland could end up with the same record and could start winning some tiebreak situations. But what I really saw from the game is Lamar Jackson played a bad game.
Yes.
He made a terrible, terrible pass on that pick six. That was a Danny Werfel pass.
That was a rookie pass.
It was a rookie pass, and for somebody that's been leading the league in completion percentage, it's like, I don't know why he tried to complete that pass, because I feel like more than anything I saw, that pass and the Myles Garrett pass rush is what won Cleveland the game. But shout out to Cleveland. They're playing some great ball right now.
So can we do the MVP talk?
Oh, no. The MVP is right. I mean, to be honest with you, who the MVP is right now?
The MVP? You asking me?
Yeah.
Who the MVP is right now? Dak Prescott. Let's be for real. You see the game yesterday, for real. I mean,
Did you see the San Francisco game?
Well, I'm not talking about the game yesterday.
You talking about how he played yesterday? I'll say, I'm going to give Dak this.
The last two games.
Dak, the last two games,
okay,
has played like an MVP. How many games have they played this season? Because he hasn't played like an MVP those other games. Okay, so, he looked like an MVP for 2 of the 8 games. C.J. Stroud would be the MVP of the league right now. A rookie would be MVP of the league right now.
That's big. Big.
Because if you really look at Houston, who do you have on Houston that you were you expecting this from Houston at all for them to even be this formidable?
No. You got the coach. Now you got to give the coach some props.
DeMeco?
You got DeMeco Ryans. You got to give him some props.
Who used to play linebacker for the Texans. I remember when he played linebacker for the Texans, he was an all-pro and Pro Bowl caliber player. I think he won Rookie of the Year too.
Right.
Defensive Rookie of the Year when he played. So, and he comes from the 49ers, who did have the best defense in the league when he was their defensive coordinator.
Right.
So Houston is looking really good right now, and just like Lamar and Harbaugh have to take blame, guess who gets to take credit in Houston? Coach, quarterback. C.J. Stroud, how many interceptions has he thrown this year?
2. One was almost pick 6 yesterday.
But as a rookie, to be halfway to the season, I think his interception ratio is 14-2. No, that's Tom Brady stuff. That's Aaron Rodgers stuff.
That's pretty.
From a rookie, like he looks like that's Dan Marino stuff. Right. You know what I mean? So as a Carolina Panthers fan, we definitely picked the wrong quarterback. Like, I know.
And the wrong coach.
No, I was about to say, so let's speak to that. Steve Wilkes went to my high school, West Charlotte.
Okay.
And so I know what West Charlotte means to the Charlotte community.
Right.
I know what Wilkes means to the community. Right. They made 2 major errors. Guess what?
Wilkes.
Coach, quarterback again. And this is why coaching quarterback matters. Let's go real quick to New England. Guess what? Guess who deserves the blame?
Bill Belichick.
Coach and quarterback. See, you don't have Tom Brady anymore.
Right.
And so
they messed up with him last year, though, man, because they gave him like a defensive coordinator. What was it? Matt Patricia and Joe Judge were the offensive coordinators.
Okay.
That stunted his growth, because his first year he was pretty good.
No, they ruined him. He's done.
He's done?
He's done. They ruined him. A season like that and have to deal with a coach like Belichick. Mac Jones is done. But here's the thing. Belichick might be done. How much credit does Tom Brady deserve? This team is 2-8.
A lot of credit. But check this out. I was driving in the car today, right? And I thought about something. It's not going to happen, but I think it would be dope. What if you trade Brian Daboll for Bill Belichick and let Bill Belichick end where he started in New York and see what happens?
I don't think the Giants would take that deal right now because they have no reason to. Without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick is not even a 500 coach. That is a fact. And so here's what it really looks like. You know how we say some coaches are really more better suited as coordinators?
Oh, wait a minute now. Come on, man.
No, let's pause for a second.
He was the coach that picked Tom Brady. He was the one that saw that this guy is the one.
I'm going to give him picking Tom Brady. I'm going to give him picking Rob Gronkowski. Those are 2 first ball Hall of Famers. Tom Brady is the best quarterback.
Lloyd Malloy, Richard Seymour.
No.
Willie McGinnis.
Hold on. What are those guys? Defensive players. Yeah. So
Ty Law.
Defense.
Asante Samuel.
Defense. It's two sides of the ball, Ron.
Will Fork.
Defense. From Miami, I remember Wilford got picked
But
at the end of the first one.
He had Bill O'Brien as a coordinator. He had Josh McDaniels. He had Charlie Weiss at one time.
Yeah, Romeo Crennel. But here's the reality of the matter. Belichick's claim to fame, and if you look at what his best games are, well, they're defensive-oriented games. There's the 1990 Super Bowl against the vaunted Bills no-huddle offense. That game plan is still in the Hall of Fame, as it deserves to be.
Yes, it is.
There's the game against the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf. He defensively is a genius.
Right.
And great at picking defensive players.
Right.
But as far as offensively, name somebody he picked other than Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Those are two big pulls. I still think Rob Gronkowski is the greatest tight end of all time.
Aaron Hernandez.
Okay.
Was he not good? Let's be for real.
No, to be honest with you, Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski is the best tight end combo ever.
Okay. He got Randy Moss.
No.
When Randy Moss was done at the Raiders,
No,
Randy
Moss wasn't done. People are just stupid.
Wes Welker. Let's be for real.
But when you're talking about these people, okay, so outside of Randy Moss, who's going to be Randy Moss no matter who's throwing him the ball, and he proved that for the majority of his career, seeing we really only played with Brady for one real season. All those other guys Brady made more than Belichick made is what I'm saying. Early on, the great defensive mind, think about all those players that you brought up. Seymour, Ty Law, Willie McGinnis, Vrabel.
Ty Law.
Yeah. Wilford. No.
Brewski.
Yeah, Brewski. When did, if I'm not mistaken, Brewski is a Parcells pick.
Right.
And Vrabel might be too. But I say all this to say, when did he pick those guys? When? It's over 2 decades ago. He hasn't, where's the Richard Seymour now? When has he picked a Richard Seymour in the last 15 years?
Rob Ninkovich.
Ninkovich is a pickup. He didn't draft Ninkovich.
Gerard Mayo.
He drafted Mayo. I love Mayo. Mayo's not Willie McGinnis. And Mayo will tell you he's not Willie McGinnis. He hasn't drafted a Vince Wilford. He hasn't drafted a Richard Seymour. He hasn't drafted a Ty Law. It's been literally 15 years. And so when I'm looking at this dynasty, it's like, oh, you helped get this dynasty rolling defensively, but he lost his touch a long time ago. And I'm not saying it's time for him to go because 6 rings is 6 rings. And 2 rings as a defensive coordinator gives you 8. So you should stay as long as you want.
He should retire then or go back to New York.
I think it's time to hang it up.
What if perfect world? What if Robert Saleh gets fired and the Jets job opens up? Think Bill can go to the Jets?
It's ready made for him to win, but I don't think Saleh's going to get fired because he's going to get some grace about the fact that, one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks ever in most people's opinion tore his ACL literally 1 minute into this season. So he's going to get another year.
He might be back in a couple of weeks, too. So they say. That'll be a miracle.
I mean, it will be. The Jets still aren't going anywhere because Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is in the regular season, isn't clutch. So they're still going to lose to a Baltimore, a Cincinnati, a Cleveland, a Kansas City. That's still happening. So where you want to go next? You want to get to some music, or you want to finish off with your boy Josh Allen still out here throwing interceptions right now while we're live?
Hey, I'm just filling in today, man, so I don't want the smoke from you, Coop. We'll talk about Josh Allen later, but I do want to end it on one sports note. What's up with your boy James Harden, man? What's going on?
James Harden is the worst superstar in basketball history.
Damn.
I told you, him and Creaky Knees and Boy George ain't about to win you nothing. They're not winners.
History?
He is the worst superstar in NBA history. History. A team, think about this. He starts off his career and he plays with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Right.
He then goes on a solo mission.
Right.
He gets Dwight Howard. He gets Chris Paul.
Gone.
He gets Russell Westbrook again.
Gone.
He goes to Brooklyn. Guess who he gets again? KD. He gets Kyrie. Guess what?
Boom.
Then let's go to Philly. He literally just played with the MVP last year. He's got Embiid. What happened?
Gone.
He's ruined all of these teams. The only team he didn't ruin was Oklahoma City, and that's because his ass wasn't that good yet, and he was coming off the bench.
Philly's won like 8 straight.
Philly looks like the best team in the league right now without him. I wonder how that happens. Chemistry matters in sports. He's a team killer. Like Ron, he's notorious down here, and it's not for basketball, right?
What's he notorious for?
All the girls know him.
Really?
Yeah. The girls at Magic?
Yeah.
At Flame?
Yeah, Houston,
Mm-hmm.
That's all he...
Allure? Yeah, they know him well. Yeah, niggas on the court like love it when James comes to Atlanta. It's like, oh, he's coming to Atlanta.
What's his stats after
3 for 18.
What's it? 3 for 18.
3 for 18. 5 for 15.
20% night.
Oh! The only time that he balled hard in a city like that was Houston, but that's just because he was close to home. You know, get the little limo service to take him home about 4, 5 in the morning. Car full of girls. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to be a party animal. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're winning. He's not won anything. He's played with more Hall of Famers than I can care to count.
Right.
He's a mess. He's not a leader.
So not winning.
He's not a winner.
So Clippers are not winning. It's still a Laker team.
None of them are winners. Listen to what I'm about to say. Kawhi's not a winner.
Wait a minute. Now he won. Wait.
No. He's the fourth best player.
He's a champion.
He was the fourth best player on his first ring.
He won in Toronto.
Yeah, after KD and Clay got hurt, which is why I don't look at Steph the way that I do. It's like, oh, you couldn't beat creaky knees?
Okay, well, he still won without. And Toronto never wins. Let's give it,
They won because KD got hurt.
Okay.
The Clay move was the finishing move. How about this? Let's take KD out the conversation. If Clay plays in that series, they win in 7.
Okay.
Tell me that I'm wrong.
Okay. So
that's prime Clay. That's Clay, because keep in mind, like KD and Clay had to suffer career-threatening injuries for him to get his second ring. He ain't like that, and he's not a leader. None of them are leaders. That's the problem. Russell Westbrook is your leader. 6 seed. First round knockout. 6 seed if they lucky. Creaky knees and Harden ain't taking you nowhere.
You're right. I give it to you. So it's still a Laker town.
It's still a Laker town.
Let's move on, man.
Okay.
Speaking of Los Angeles, let's talk about the Grammy nominations that came out last week. 5 hip-hop albums got nominated. I think Michael by my man Killer Mike. Utopia, Travis Scott.
Right.
Heroes and Villains, Metro Boomin. You got Her Loss, Drake, and 21 Savage. And what was the other one? King's Disease 3.
Don't be funny, Ron.
I know. We talk about it all the time. So, I think that we kind of talked that into existence, you and Mike D, for our album of the year. What do you think?
Grammy nods are not quality album of the year nods.
Right.
So let's make that understood. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody running around saying like, oh, well, KD3 should win. It's like you're thinking about the quality.
Right.
You're not thinking about how the game really gets played.
Right.
And the way this game gets played is that we really never know what they're going to do. You know? I think Metro has a great shot at winning.
Really?
I really, really think Metro has a great shot at winning.
Is it because the album is better than the rest? Or can you make a compelling argument that it's better than Michael?
He checks a lot of boxes. He trends. Like Metro, it's funny, Metro as a producer at this stage in the game is probably, if we were having a popularity contest, I'd say outside of Drake, he would be the most popular person involved in this conversation. The Grammy likes to make surprising picks sometimes, and this feels like this could be one of those surprising pick years where a producer could win Best Rap Album.
Right.
Because he has, quite frankly, the clientele on his album.
Right.
Thug is on there. Future's on there.
Right.
Savage is on there. Nas is on there. He's checking a lot of boxes. He is.
Right. So you give that the dark horse. If you had a second pick, and let's not talk about KD3.
Right.
Removing that, what would be the second pick for album of the year?
Michael.
Really? I got something to say. Shout out to Killer Mike. He's a fan of the show, friend of the show. I like Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the mind that you and Mike D have, but I do have a mind. Just the audience knows I did grow up on hip hop.
Don't underestimate your mind, Ron.
So I know what I'm talking about a little bit. But Michael's sounds like an album that's supposed to sound good. You understand what I'm saying? Like
the Grammy likes shit like that.
They try to make something sound good. And that's the argument I have against Kendrick, right? Kendrick makes music that's supposed to sound good. Is it organic? Is it natural? But it's supposed to. And maybe I'm not describing it the right way, but you understand what I'm saying? It sounds like it's manufactured greatness. It doesn't sound like it was just like you got the choirs and the samples and the patterns. It sounds like it was made to be good. That it didn't naturally happen, if that makes sense.
That sounds like some shit the Grammys like too, quite frankly. It's like we as sometimes hip hop purists and avid listeners, We can listen to an album like Michael, and it's almost like, we got this thing. We don't want our artists to try hard to sound great, And there's
Right.
something about Michael that feels maybe too polished for people, and like is trying too hard to be great. But that doesn't mean that it's not great, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve the Grammy.
Right. Right.
I mean, King's Disease 3 is by far the best album of these albums, in my opinion. And so if we're just going by quality, King's Disease 3 should win. But you also have to look at it, too, is that I kind of looked at them giving Nas the Grammy for KD1 as Lifetime Achievement Awards
Right.
of sorts.
Right.
And they usually don't hand out Lifetime Achievement Awards twice.
Right.
So
it's a one and done. So you got a dark horse. You got Metro Boomin winning.
I think Metro might win this one. I would like for King's Disease 3 to win because I'd like the Grammys to maybe set a template. Seeing how it's called Best Rap Album. Isn't it called Best Rap Album?
Yeah, best rap album. Is it hip hop or I think it's best rap album.
Well, it'd be nice if they picked the best rap album every year. Because here's my thing, even with King's Disease 1, it's like, I love King's Disease 1, but that got nominated the same year Alfredo did. And Alfredo's better than King's Disease 1 to me. As much as I, am a Nas fan and think he's the GOAT, I do think Alfredo's a better album than KD1.
Right.
And so it's like, even if I was being fair, I would tell you, it's like, well, if we're going by quality, he shouldn't have won for KD1. Should have won for KD2 and now KD3 or Magic.
Right.
But that's how the Grammys roll. So it's like, it's not super surprising to me.
Yeah. I think me, you, Mike D, and the crew need to go to LA for the Grammys, man.
Let's make it shake. I mean, I'm down.
You want to do a breakfast? They do the brunch. They do the Rock Nation brunch. I think we should do a breakfast.
I don't like breakfast. I don't like brunch.
You want to do a lunch?
We can talk lunch.
You want to do a dinner?
I prefer to do it.
You want to do a day party?
Day party. Now I'm a day party guy. There we go.
You don't like Who doesn't like breakfast?
Me. I eat niggas all the time. You know what I'm saying? But like breakfast, no. LA's got great rooftop parties, so I would say let's do a little rooftop day party. Yeah. I still got some people out there. I know we can do it.
Yeah, we might need to take somebody. Mike D, Coop, y'all keep on liking, hit like and subscribe. Make a comment. We might select a couple people to say. Did we get a super chat? I think we got one.
Yeah, we got one super chat so far. It's coming from JY. Says, hope everything is all right with Mike. What's up, Coop and Ron? Yeah, Mike's doing well. Mike just is tending the family. You know what I mean?
Family business, man.
Yeah.
We just wanted to have a show. We didn't want Coop to be on Rap Roundtable tonight and then us not have a show. So that's what we're doing. We're just having a show just to kind of talk about the things that happened in the week. We had the Grammy nods. One of the albums that got nominated was... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What was your favorite album from the Grammy nods?
Oh, man. Can I go through it really slow? I was not a big Michael fan. Shout out to Killer Mike. I want him on the show, but was not a big fan of Michael. I listened to it like 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
It felt forced to me. Utopia started off really well, but it tapered off toward the end.
I agree.
So I was really disappointed in Utopia. The rollout was pretty good.
Me too.
Being Italy, the movie, all that was pretty cool, right?
Kanye.
Kanye. Yeah, Kanye. Then you had King's Disease 3. I really enjoyed that album, but I have to admit.
You did?
I did enjoy the album, I have to admit. I listened to Magic 3 more than King's Disease 3. That's just me. I you guys are the Nas experts. I'm not.
I mean,
as a fan, I like Magic 3 more than King's Disease 3. That's just me.
Me personally too. Magic 3 was not eligible. The Grammys changed. I think they moved the requirements up like a week or two, and so Magic 3 would have fallen within the framework under a normal year, but they changed it for some odd reason. They do what the fuck they want. But also too, I wouldn't want to see Magic 3 and KD 3 up against each other because it's two best albums of the 6-album trilogy. I wouldn't want them competing with each other for one Grammy.
Right. So to answer your question, my favorite albums, I'm not saying it was the best, my favorite albums of the bunch
is that Metro.
Is the Metro.
Yep.
And I ain't gonna front. I did like Her Loss. I liked it. I thought it was a good record. I think that and we're gonna segue into that because we're gonna talk about, Drake as the duos and how these duos, he forms little duos, alliances over the years. Him and 21 have good chemistry. I like the album.
I was going through a petty phase when the Drake and 21 came out.
Okay.
So I love the pettiness of the album, but I also don't love the album. I feel like some albums are just for the moment. But the Drake and 21 album about the name brand recognition is probably the one that's most likely to win.
Think so?
Just if the Grammys do what they do, like if they do what they do, then yeah, it'll probably be the Drake and 21. But also too, Drake's gotten a lot of nods. That's why I was looking at the list and I'm like, well, they done gave Drake, plenty of Grammys, and they just gave Nas his first Grammy. And, Travis Scott isn't too far removed from some controversy. And so when I look at it, it's like, no, I can see Metro sliding in on a year like this. Quality-wise should be KD3.
Okay, I got you. So let's piggyback on that, though. So Drake and 21, they collaborated. And Drake has been, we got an article on According to Hip Hop, www.accordingtohiphop.com, about Drake and Wayne's collaborations. But it was just announced today that Drake and J.Cole, fresh off of First Person Shooter, off of For All the Dogs album, are going on tour. So let's speak on that a little bit. Now, let's talk about Drake. So I suspect, if you follow Drake's pattern, that he went on tour with Future, right?
Right.
Had an album.
Right.
Went on tour with 21. Had an album.
Right.
Went on the Young Money tour back in the day with Drake. With Lil Wayne, they don't have an album. I think they should, but we can get into that later. But do you think
they need an album after all these years?
J.Cole, I think they do.
I don't, but when we talk about the Ross and the Meek, I'm going to kind of break down why.
I think they do. But let's stick on this J.Cole and Drake. We need a Drake J.Cole album? Or do you think he would be best served doing an album with Ross or Wayne or somebody else?
First of all, what we need is a J. Cole album.
It's coming, man.
Fall Off better be coming this year.
It's coming.
Okay?
He got heat.
He does. He's been spitting hot fire.
The Yachty record is crazy.
Dylon.
Yachty record is crazy.
But we need a J. Cole album. I don't want to have this. I get it, because if we're following Drake's pattern, it's definitely a Cole and Drake project in the works. But these are also two very astute businessmen. I think that goes understated.
Right.
But business aside, we need that Cole album.
It's coming. The Fall Off. It should be in the fall. So I suspect it. I think it might be a surprise drop next week. I predict that right now. Black Friday. Busta's coming out next week. I suspect the Fall Off. Think about the timing of the announcement. They announced the tour this week. Why? Makes no sense.
It does. They're businessmen.
So the album is either coming very, very, very soon. So Drake already dropped his shit. It's already in the wind. I suspected J. Cole to drop within 2 weeks.
I just don't want to hear a J. Cole and Drake album before I hear a J. Cole album. That is some shit I do not want to hear.
You want to hear it because you got to think about it. It makes no sense to make the announcement right now if the album's not coming out.
No, I get it. Astute business move, and they can couple the Drake album and the Cole album, and then the Drake and Cole album, and do a whole tour. Cole's got Dreamville, so you can get Ari Lennox, JID, Earth Gang can all open. So it's all set up for the victory. Just the part of me that's just a rap guy first, Ron, is just
right.
Give me that J. Cole album, though. I don't want to talk about this tour.
Right.
I don't want to talk about Drake album. I don't want to talk about Drake and Cole album.
J. Cole shit.
I want the guy that's been sounding like the best MC in the game outside of Nas to actually make this conversation conversational, like I've been saying. A 50-year-old should not be out rapping all of these guys.
He's not, in my opinion. But
I mean,
he's not. I don't think he's out rapping J. Cole. That Yachty record is crazy.
This is what I'm saying. For everybody that feels like Wayne and Cole are there right now,
in the bag right now.
Name of the project that reflects it, because that guy has projects that reflects the bag.
You're going to see the project.
It needs to reflect.
When College Grove 2 drops,
it needs to reflect.
Speaking of which, you just heard the song.
I heard it when I was riding with you in the
Long
Tessie.
Story short,
yeah,
with 2 Chainz.
No,
that record is going to be crazy. The first 2 records of Pressure and that record are crazy.
It was banging in the Tessie. When we was riding here and you put it on for me, I'm like, oh, this bangs in the Tessie. It's like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Where that album at?
It's coming.
This is hip hop. We judge our greats, and we judge the greatest MC by the quality of their albums.
It's coming next week, I think.
Okay.
Black Friday.
Hold on. What, the Cole or the Wayne?
I think the Wayne drops.
That's Wayne
Either
and
this
Chains. Where his shit.
It's coming. You gotta, you're a businessman. It's coming. He ain't announcing a tour with no album.
Okay.
It don't work like that.
All I'm saying is
something's coming. Either the joint album's coming or either the Cole albums.
This dude just did 6 albums in 3 years. And until they make a album that is comparable with at least one of the top 4 albums that he just made, he is the best MC. That's what I keep on trying to tell people. It's like, well, you don't have enough evidence. It's like, those guest verses are epic. I told you, First Person Shooter is probably the verse of the year. Need to go back and listen to Magic 3 again because I haven't listened to it in a minute.
That Wayne verse on Magic 3 is crazy.
The Icons, yeah. No, that verse is crazy. Nas's verse on there's plenty of stuff. Yeah. But for a verse is what you're talking about. A verse never made anybody the best MC in the game. Let's go back when AZ did Life's a Bitch on Illmatic. Nobody was walking around saying AZ was the nicest dude in the game because the other guy made Illmatic.
Right. Well, I Method Man. Method Man had a lot of verses back in the day where people were saying he was the nicest when
he was in the conversation, but he was never the guy.
Right.
He never superseded a Nas or a Big, and he got superseded by Ray and Ghost and his own crew in about a 3 or 4 years time period. Like by the time definitely by the time Supreme had hit, but it became a Ray and Meth conversation after the Purple tape, and it became Ghost after Supreme. So it's like, I love Meth, and talent-wise, one of the most gifted ever, but he was never that guy. Big was that guy. Pac was that guy. Think about it, when Meth is walking around, Big and Pac are still walking around, and so is a young Nas. So it's like, no, and a young Prodigy, and a young Ray. It's like, nah, I'm sorry. Like, how about this? Prodigy has as many standout verses on the Mobb Deep joints as Meth does on the Wu-Tang stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, except for like Prodigy got Quiet Storm, Keep It Thorough. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so he's never really been that guy. He's been in the conversation.
That's true.
And just somebody that's from North Carolina, I would like if J. Cole would like officially take the reins.
I think he is. And I think he's going to clean up the 2025 Grammys.
I don't care what he clean up. What he need to clean up right now is this album making process and give us something comparable to what the 50-year-old who we talk about too much.
He is. It's going to happen.
No. I'm saying it. It's like I expect the most from him. And so
you're going to get it.
Okay.
You're going to get it.
Like the off season. No, that's not going to cut it.
The fall off, man.
The off season's not going to cut it for what Nas just did. Just so we're clear.
It's going to kill. I predict, and I'm just the camera guy, I predict that the fall off will be better than Magic 3, King Disease 3. All the albums that's in the categories we just talked about.
So you think
fall off.
You think after having a career where, quite frankly, Nas has arguably made more classics in a 3-year period from age 47 to 50, you think Cole is going to come along and supersede all of that with one album?
No, I just think the fall off is going to be better than everything that's nominated in the rap category right now.
So everything in this, so you think that the fall off is going to be better than King's Disease 3?
Yes, I do, without a doubt.
If it does, that'd make it one of the greatest rap albums of all time. So that's what you're telling me.
I think this guy's in a zone right now. If you heard the Yachty record, if you heard all the records he's been on, I think it's crazy. You got somebody saying something?
Yeah. Michael Williams with the $5 super chat said, if Magic 3 were eligible and you could submit one Nas album, what would you pick? I'd take KD3 for the black empowerment and anti-violent themes.
So say you.
I would concur with that, actually. I prefer Magic 3, but KD3 is a body of work because it's a solo mission and because of what he's speaking about, the black empowerment, and it is anti-violent. I like that he brought out the anti-violent, so I will agree with Michael Williams on that. Shout out to Michael Williams, always supporting us.
Shout out to Michael Williams. So let's segue into this, right, because we were talking about it in the car. Duos always consisted of, like, in-crew shit, right? So you had Styles P, Jadakiss, right? Yeah, Ray and Ghost. And Ray and Ghost and Meth made an album. I don't know if you remember that joint?
Of course I do.
Yeah, it was.
It's Wu-Tang Forever.
No. That wasn't the album.
No, I'm saying it's Wu-Tang Forever over here, Ron.
Right, I feel you, but I'm saying that Ray, Meth, and Ghost album was...
I blame the production.
Was all right.
Blame the production.
But we start seeing a phenomenon, and the first thing I was thinking about, like, The first time I could think of somebody outside of like traditional DJ rapper duo, organic duo groups was Red and Meth.
I was trying to think about an unofficial duo before them that started collaborating the way that they did. But what I would submit to you, although I might agree, is that what did they really do before their album outside of How High from the Show soundtrack and Do What You Feel on Muddy Waters? Like, what resume do we really have that they?
They were on the Posse cut the 4321, right? That was before their album, I think, right?
Yeah, that's before Blackout. That's fair. That's before Blackout.
Right.
So we have them on 3 records together. I don't know if that's unofficial duo status, so I might have to slide that over to Ray and Ghost.
Okay. So, Styles P and J, well, they were in a group though, so they're not really.
No, I mean Wu was all in a group too, but when you said it, I thought about it, and it's like, yeah, Meth and Red might have set it off with How High, but it's really Ray and Ghost that set off the unofficial duo type of thing to me, because that's the Purple Tape. Because I don't think we ever had an album that great with a co-star like Ghost. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, he's a co-star and a co-pilot, not like, I mean, not the, God bless Fife, but it's like, it's not a Q-Tip Fife situation with Ray and Ghost.
Right.
Ray is the better rapper in 95 and 96, but it feels co-piloted by Ghost. Right. In a positive way.
Right.
Where
it feels like it's as much as his album than Ray's.
No, it's Ray's ethos, and you see that it's Ray's ethos when you hear Iron Man, because the soulfulness that Ghost has
was different
than Ray's street sensibility. So Ghost is definitely jumping into Ray's chamber on the Purple Tape.
Kappa was in the mix too.
Kappa's in the mix too, but there was something about that Ray and Ghost thing. That's the first real unofficial duo to me, because we have multitude of records early on that reflect it, where it's just them. Criminology, Rainy Days, Can It Be All So Simple, on Enter the Wu-Tang. What songs are they just them on? It's Ray and Ghost and Master Killer on Glaciers of Ice. Kappa did come along like on a positive third wheel type of spin. But for me, the moment where it's like they were really that was when I heard the MGM on Wu-Tang Forever, because they had been doing joints together and Kappa was involved with a lot of that too. But when they did the back and forth on the MGM, I was just like, pfft,
that's it right there.
That's it right there.
You know what? I forgot about an unofficial duo. Fat Joe and Pun.
Joe and Pun did a lot of stuff. Like, people forget that Joe was taking Pun around like on the mixtape circuit and kicking freestyles. Yeah, but I still think there might be a little dearth of material there. Like outside of Twins, the Deep Cover redo. I remember they were on the Funk Master Flex Volume 1, I think, freestyling over the Ice Cream track. But those are only 2 records I can think that just them 2 did, just offhand. John Blaze.
Right. Jay-Z. I just thought about Jay-Z and Meek, Memphis Bleak. They had a couple records. Jay-Z and Beanie.
Jay and Beanie might be better, but like, don't bring Bleak and Jay into a Meth and Red and Ray and Ghost.
I'm not going. Excuse me, sir. This is my first day.
First day, my ass. You sit over there all the time. You know exactly how we get down.
I don't know. I'm trying to think how Mike D would think, and he would say something about. He would say that. He would say Meek and Jay.
And I would tell him he's saying some crazy shit.
Bleak and Jay.
No, it's definitely Beans and Jay as far as the unofficial duo from that crew about the qualitative output.
Damn, we forgot, man. How could we forget? Jay and Kanye.
Nas and AZ. Stop that.
But Jay and Kanye made an album together. That was like, they were one of the first kind of like, duos.
Okay, so in regards to a duo making an album together, that is Meth and Red with Blackout.
Right.
Because it's like, Only Built for Cuban Links is featuring Ghostface Killah. Iron Man is featuring Raekwon.
Capadonna.
Kappa
credit, I think he did.
Kappa's on the cover of Iron Man, but I feel like he's on the Purple Tape and Iron Man equally. Like, he's not always. Is he on?
I think he got credited on Iron Man.
Is he on Iron Man more? I know there's Daytona 500. There's Fish. Winter Wars.
He's on like 4 or 5 records in there.
Right, he's on 4 or 5 records on both of them. Ghost and Ray on 260. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, there's something about Ray and Ghost. Like I feel you on the Meth and Red. I think that's for mass consumption, but the reality is that the first real unofficial duo is Ray and
Are you
Ghost.
counting Jay-Z and R. Kelly?
That actually came to my mind. I mean, working with the Nasty Bastard doesn't like absolve like it being a joint album,
Right.
but doesn't that's still after Meth and Red's Blackout album, right?
Do you remember there was during that time there was like R. Kelly was supposed to do something with Birdman?
Sorry to hear that. Oh my God.
I don't think that came out.
Thank God. How about this? Here's why I say it's Ray and Ghost. I feel like by the time, because Apollo Kids is the first single off Supreme.
Right.
By the time they had done Apollo Kids, I feel like they had made an album worth of material, at least, of songs, of just them two.
Right.
You feel me? And that's where it's different, like Motherless Child, 260, the MGM. And here's the thing about the Ray and Ghost thing. It's almost like a plug and play with Ray and Ghost. It's like, well, you can plug anybody into that. You can plug in the Jizz on Older Gods. You can plug in Meth on Box in Hand. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be Ray and Ghost right there, you know?
Right.
So that would be my take on that. Kappa was the main plug. I think he was just, first of all, I think Kappa was coming home from a bid around the time that they were making those two projects. And so the goal was to put Kappa in the mix. And I think RZA's brother Power has stated Kappa was his favorite. So I think there was some favoritism going on with Cap getting some of the run that he got too. Not saying it wasn't real, but also too, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kappa and Ghost are from Park Hill.
Right.
And so there's some of that going on, but it's Ray and Ghost, dude.
And speaking of Wu, man, we got an article. We were at the film premiere at the Red Rocks last week. We did an article. We met Riz on the red carpet in New York last week. It's on the site www.accordingtohiphop.com. Check it out. But this is gonna piggyback into this. Let's talk this Meek and Rick Ross.
Until the Wu-Tang celebrated 30 years. It's just
they lit up the Empire State Building. Shout out to the Wu. But let's get into this duo talk, right? Let's get into
which is like the thing now, because there aren't groups anymore. There's just duos,
right.
which is why we're having this
some
conversation.
Duos that never happened, because I think LL Cool J and Genuine was doing an album.
That's not a duo.
That didn't work.
Can we leave the R&B niggas out of it, Ron?
With the Omarion and Bow Wow do some shit.
Ron, I don't want this to be the last time that you come on here.
This might be the last time.
I don't want you to be the last time.
I'm talking about duos, okay?
Okay, like I'm gonna need you.
Jadakiss and Fabulous.
Jada and Fab.
Okay,
Kanye Cudi.
Yeah, that was a dope album.
Kanye J. Kids See Ghost was excellent. The beats were dope.
Kanye and Jay.
I
want to see Watch the Throne too. I don't think we'll ever see Jay Electronica and Jay.
See, this is where you start seeing how the group dies, but the duo lives on. I think it's the cross-pollination of fan bases.
Somebody else. I'm trying to think if somebody else did something too.
I mean, plenty of people have now at this point because it's a thing to do. You just brought up Drake and Future, Drake and 21, Drake and Cole coming soon.
But Drake is Drake. Drake's got to be top 10 because he can do it. He can do it with anybody. He can do it with Wayne. He can do it. Him and Nicki can make an album together.
That's not an album that I would want to hear at this stage in the game. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Meek and the Ross.
Weeknd can make an album. But let's talk
Stop bringing these R&B niggas.
Okay.
Says according to hip hop on the logo.
Let me get back.
If you wanna talk about these R&B niggas,
R&B,
you can come on all the things, okay? Because we're gonna have more of a wide music stretch.
Let's go back to the hip hop.
Look at the microphone.
Let's go back to the hip hop lane.
It's ridiculous.
Ross and Meek. I have my thoughts. Go, sir.
I want to hear yours first.
I'm gonna say what we just talked about it. I think this album is 7 years too late.
I think that was the most astute comment that you made while we were riding in the Tessie on the way here.
It's 7 years too late.
It is.
This is not fresh. It seems like they're just trying to bring back 2016 or some shit.
I think it's a good album. I don't think that it's bad. Like, I think some people were calling it whack juice, like Mad Max, but Mad Max don't know shit, and we all know Mad Max don't know shit. I feel like this is really Ross's album that he was working on, and he just kind of brought Meek back into the fold and said, hey, let's do this.
Right.
You know, like when I was on Rap Roundtable, I was saying it's like I don't like the Shaq and Kobe thing. Just appears to be for clicks and views and likes because Meek's never even been Penny, let alone Kobe.
Is that like James Harden and Westbrook?
No, we're not going to disrespect Ross like that. Because here's the thing about it. Ross is great on this album. Like, how about this? My takeaway from this album is that the project is just solid.
Embiid and Harden. That's what this album is.
I don't want to disrespect Meek like that.
Well, I wasn't really feeling Meek on this joint, to be quite honest with you.
Just for me personally, I've never really bought into the Meek hype like everybody else.
It's not one song.
I don't mind Meek, but I never looked at Meek like a heavy hitter like that. I'm sorry.
Right. So he's not top 50 for you.
Oh, no.
Top 75 for you.
No.
Top 100 for you. Damn.
I'm taking
Buckshot over Meek.
Yes.
I'm taking
Sean Price, Heavy D, who we just talked about.
Capadonna, you guys.
Pharoah Monch, Inspect the Deck, the Jizza. Yeah, we can do the Method Man roll call. Talib and Yasin.
Grand Puba.
Common.
Guru.
Yeah, we can keep going. The list is long of the people that's outperformed Meek. How about this? Wale's had a better career than Meek album-wise.
Hey, we got an article about Wale on the website, by the way. But
your behind the scenes ass is just gonna plug the website.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug the
plug
website.
everything, plug the brand.
We need to be selling some shirts, man. What's this shit you got on right now? Black Dad Gang.
My brother Rico, who is the owner and founder of Black Dad Gang, is gonna be on the show. All the things. He's one of my co-hosts and correspondents.
Christmas time, get you some Black Dad. We get you some According Hip Hop shirts. Get you some Black Dad Gang shirts.
That's why you don't get producer shows.
We're gonna get some wrapping paper and some mugs and shit.
No more in the cup for you, Ron.
I'm being for real.
But all jokes aside, to the Meek point, Meek was never like that for me. So when people was like, even when I was on Rap Roundtable just now, and they were like, well, Meek has regressed. I was like, well, he was never he had never progressed to something that was considered to be,
Right.
We got Chris Doherty with the $5 super chat. Says, Coop, Ross clearly said this album's for the streets, clubs, riding in the car. Never said we doing conscious rap. I didn't bring anything up about it being conscious. I think we're just talking to the fact that it's
that was more of a D1 conversation, right? You know what I'm saying?
It was, and I don't really appreciate him making that comment because literally on the second record or third record on this album, Meek is actually speaking to doing stuff with Robert Kraft.
Right, and to me, it's not.
So it's about what you choose to listen to.
It's not about conscious rap to me. I don't think Meek's portion of rhyming to me as a fan sounded good. I just don't think it sounded good.
His flow was not in pocket.
It sounded like really pitchy. It sounded like really just like kind of like out of sorts. Ross was in his bag. To me, that's just me as a fan listening to it.
So as somebody that's a fan of Ross, that hasn't been a fan of his last couple of projects like that, truly, like when I go back and really listen to him.
What's the last Ross project you liked?
I like Ross, so I tend to enjoy all his stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because he is a personal favorite of mine now. But the last thing great he made, what's the album that has Idols Become Rivals and Santorini, Greece and all that on it? Apple of My Eye, Trap.
I forgot the name of that record.
Summer 17. That's the last great album that he made. The last classic that he made was God Forgives I Don't. And so for me...
Is that the one with Nobody on it?
No, I don't think so. But he's done a lot of joints. And Ross is consistent, but it hasn't been great in a minute. But there was some stuff on here that I heard, and production-wise I enjoyed, that it's like, oh no, he might have another one in him still. So I was excited about that. Meek's flow is out of pocket, and he need to get back in pocket.
It sounds too pitchy to me. I'm not really...
He's always been too pitchy. This is what I'm saying. What Meek have y'all been listening to? That's how he raps.
I don't think I like it.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. So it's like I'm leaving work. And shout out to my man Cash Mugga. I told Mugga I was going to plug him. Y'all need to follow my man Mugga 2.0 on IG.
Follow him on IG.
Cash going to come in when I get the show started. He's going to be one of the first artists that I interview on all the things.
Right.
Cash played a record for me last night in his whip when I was walking out the building to go watch another artist perform, because that's where I went. I went to see one of my homegirls perform last night because she been asking me, her and her dude been like, you going to pull up tonight? I'm like, well, if the staff get the fuck out the building, I'm going to pull up. They finally got out. They went to the fucking parking lot. So Cash is sitting in the parking lot. He's a Philly dude. He's from Philly.
Right.
And I'm asking him, I'm like, how's the Meek and the Ross for you? And he's like, it brought me back. And then he played his record for me. And I mean, and this is just my take, and this is why I'm shouting him out. I'm like, nigga, you sound better than Meek. He like, I know, my flow is more polished. And I was like, It is.
Right. How was his voice? Was his voice pitchy?
I think that's kind of a Philly thing, but that has something to do with how they enunciate their words and how they pitch. It's like is Meek pitchy? It's like, yeah. Is Freeway pitchy? Yeah. Is PD Crack pitchy? Yeah. So it's obviously some Philly shit with the pitch. Oh, but his flow was polished and in pocket, and the way he was weaving on the beat. I told him, like, I hit Cash today. I was like, send me that record. I was like, I need to talk about you on the show today, because it's like part of what we need to be doing is rating shit appropriately. It's like, nah, there's dudes out here in the street that's better than Meek right now that's from his city. And so he needs to get back in pocket and get in flow. But I was never a big fan like that. Like,
Right.
outside of Dreams and Nightmares, like, what's the record that, like, or records? It's like, what's his 10 best records?
I can't name 10 best records, but the only Meek record I liked that I played was Dreams and Nightmares, and I liked Amen with Drake. It's not a bad in the building.
That's
Amen.
That's not enough. I like Glow Up. Glow Up was my shit.
I like the song he did with Ross. Was it International's Finest or something? The one that used the Brooklyn Finest beats.
Oh, So Sophisticated was my shit.
Yeah.
I like So Sophisticated. But it's also, too, it's like, Meek strikes me as one of those guys. It's like, well, he's only good when you put him on a certain style of beat.
Right. I've never been a big fan, quite honest with you.
Me neither. And so I feel like he might be overrated and overhyped. And so hearing him regress back to the mean, you have to understand, and this is what's going on in hip-hop right now, well, he really ain't made his money off rap in a long time. He has been on a prison reform kick, whether D1 likes it or not. He has been branding himself. He is on Twitter and these social media platforms a lot. Even when he says he's like, I'm taking a break. It's like, well, yeah, you're taking a break because you have such a big following on here that you feel the need to let him know stuff like that instead of just kind of fading in the darkness. So he's getting his money different ways right now, and he's in some different arenas, you know. But here's the reality of the matter. It's like, I think people are holding on to that Dreams and Nightmares. And how long ago was that record?
Oh, maybe 10, 11 years
Oh,
ago?
it's been longer than that. It's been longer than that, fam.
But you know what? You know what though? This may get me kicked off the show for good, and I'm okay with that.
Well, you got your own show, Ron.
And the audience may hate me for this, but I'm gonna say something real quick. Me personally, camera guy, RKY. I like French Montana more than Meek Mill.
I don't know if I'm going that far.
I like French Montana's music more than Meek Mill.
I'm not a big fan of either,
The
to be
stuff he did
honest.
with Chinks Drugs, the Coke Boy records. I like French Montana records more than Meek Mill records.
I don't like either of them like that, to be honest with you, Ron. It's like I would put them on equal footing and tell you that it's like I understand why they got signed and why they have deals, and I understand what they bring to the table. Me personally, just not a fan like that. And so when they're like, man, Meek don't sound good on this album, I'm like, kind of halfway expecting that. He really don't rap like that no more. And when he did rap all the time, I never thought it was like that. Like, think about this. When has Meek ever had a verse of the year contender, a song of the year contender, an album of the year contender?
Never.
Right. When has he ever had a scene-stealing guest appearance, even like Wale on No Hands? Remember Wale's verse on No Hands? She said, look, ma, no hands. No, he doesn't even have something like that that's memorable like that.
The only record he had that had the streets buzzing was the record he had with Jay-Z and Ross.
And I hate to bring this up. You took one of the biggest fades in rap history when Drake faded you. That was a fade of fades. That was a 96 Nas fade that he took.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Oh, it was so crispy.
That was lethal.
Yeah, you getting bodied by a singer nigga.
That was terrible.
I mean, Back to Back is one of the greatest diss records ever. And it's about who? Like, Back to Back is like Drop a Gem level. It's 10% diss level.
That was terrible.
It's not quite Ether or Takeover or The Bitch in You or No Vaseline level.
That was terrible.
But it's the next best thing.
That was terrible. That was terrible. You got me. Man, you know, I hate to take a sports break. He's throwing another interception.
That's your boy throwing interceptions.
Why is he throwing fucking interceptions?
He's like Brett Favre minus the touchdowns.
Why is he throwing so many?
Brett Favre minus the touchdowns.
I just don't understand.
And championship game appearances.
I haven't seen
and
the game.
MVPs.
I don't understand.
And championship ring.
He's got it in. He's on the cover of Madden. He's on the cover of Madden. You've seen Josh Allen go to work. You know he can do it.
Okay, so you know what he is, really?
He's Jay Cutler 2.0.
I was actually he's actually
Dante Culpepper.
People want him to be Ben Roethlisberger,
Yes,
but he's not Ben Roethlisberger.
he's better.
It's not even close.
He can run better than Ben Roethlisberger.
He can throw and run better than almost anybody playing football right now. But his IQ is not there. He's a Jeff George. He's got all the tools. He's not using all the tools
Jeff
in the
George
toolbox.
is nice. I like Jeff George. Actually, that's not an insult.
You like him what?
I liked him. I thought he was good.
Yeah, when he threw to Randy Moss and Chris Carter for a year, everybody throwing to Randy Moss and Chris Carter's about to look good.
I thought he looked good as a Falcon.
We're going to digress into something else. You know that's a lie. You know that's a lie. He's a Ryan Leaf right now. That's what he is. You want him to be Ben Roethlisberger. He's Ryan Leafing you right now.
No, I don't. I think he needs to get another coach. We got somebody else to super chat. What do we got?
Michael Williams with the $5 super chat. What's the better album, Damn or Victory Lap? I say Victory Lap. What say you?
In my humble opinion, as a guest host, I would say I enjoy Damn more than Victory Lap.
Okay.
I'm not a big Kendrick Lamar fan. I think J. Cole, if we talk about the hierarchy of this new school, I don't think Kendrick falls into that bracket. I got J. Cole, I got Drake, then I got Kendrick. But Damn was a better project.
Okay. I think Victory Lap is a classic, and I think Damn is a borderline classic. And so that would be the difference. But it's a small hairs we're splitting here.
I mean, shout out to Nipsey, man. I mean, that was
rest in peace to Nipsey.
Rest in peace to Nipsey. That was unfortunate that he got murdered like that, taken out too soon. But I think that Damn was a better project. I think Love is one of the best records that Kendrick Lamar ever made.
Oh no, that's
like a top 5 Kendrick record.
10 to 15. But I agree. He's made better records.
That's a crazy record.
Almost all the records on Good Kid, Mad City are better than Love.
But Love is like a perfect record. I ain't no soft cat, but I mean that's just a good record.
It's a beautiful song. Don't get me wrong. It is one of the 3 or 4 best
like a
joints
song that you can play like 20 years from now.
No, I'm not taking any of that away from you. It's like, is it Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe? Money Trees. That's when you're talking top 5. These are the records that we're talking how much $1 costs. And it's like, no, it's not that. I don't think, but it would be the next level for him.
It's top 10.
If he was doing, yes, I can give it top 10. It would fall in my top 10 somewhere, probably about 10. If he was doing a verses, it would definitely be one of the records that get played.
Oh,
it's one of his 20 best records without a doubt. But it's not. I don't know. There's something about that record that it's like it really doesn't. I think part of why you like it so much is because he doesn't do records like that, and we enjoy our artists when they step outside their box and provide us with something we don't expect.
Forced. It doesn't. It sounds natural.
It sounds very natural. I will give you that. There's something
natural. Like it was.
How about this? There's something organic about that record that I like more than the Loyalty joint with Rihanna. So I feel you.
Right. It feels real. It doesn't feel like, oh, I got to make a good record.
No, it feels like he was inspired by the woman that was becoming his wife at the time to make the record, and that's a beautiful thing,
right.
You know?
And you can hear it. That shit is like natural.
Yeah, he didn't. It's not like the hook is coming, I want to be with you, babe. Yeah, so it's not like it's super complicated or complex or intricate like a lot of his better songs. It's just a dope-ass record that he made. But I've always said this is like, well, that's really what Good Kid, Mad City is. It's that young kid just making dope-ass hip-hop records.
Right.
He needs to get back to that and stop all this half-stepping and mid-stepping, high-step, whatever it is. This ain't fucking Broadway. It's not a play.
But that's okay.
But anyway.
But that's okay. He's going to get back into it because guess what? J. Cole about to drop. And he's going to force, it's going to keep people focused. It's going to get people focused. It's going to get people.
I asked Sin this on the Rap Roundtable today, Ron. It's like, do you think it's done for Kendrick? Like we've seen the best days of him? And he brought up Kanye's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Okay?
I think Kendrick has because like I said, I'm a guy.
He need Dre.
I'm a guy that
need Dr. Dre.
That doesn't particularly enjoy Kendrick's music.
He needs to call the doctor.
So I think that he has something else in him because of his last album, that Morales joint.
Morales.
I'm not feeling that.
The morale was low after that album came out.
That was a terrible record, in my opinion.
Right.
So I think he has something else in him. But guess what? I think J. Cole's about to put the pressure on. And I think Kanye's about to put the pressure on.
Oh, my God.
He is. You saw he's in Saudi Arabia.
Mike D's at home, and I still have to put up with this
He's in
Kanye
Saudi,
shit.
You saw this shit in Saudi Arabia. He's got like a whole studio in like the middle of the desert. It's gonna be crazy. Dude.
He had a whole studio in the middle of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and all we got was that crappy ass album.
No.
And we got drug out. You and me got drug out to that crappy show.
That show was tight. That show, you enjoy. I was there. I was with you.
You were sitting next to me.
And we got you on tape. You said you liked it.
The audacity.
No, I got it on tape because I recorded the post.
I said he needs to make some changes.
But you said you ultimately you thought you heard some stuff like Junja. Junja's a great record.
I said I heard some stuff.
Yeah.
Let's bear in mind, most of that stuff I heard didn't make the damn album.
Junja did, and Junja, we heard Junja.
If you and Mike don't stop picking 10 songs, it's 10 songs out of 30. When you get 10 out of 30 questions right on a test, you get an F.
Let's not worry about that though. Let's worry about the new one that's coming out.
It's not coming out.
It is. He's in Saudi Arabia.
I don't give a damn where he is.
Holed up in Saudi Arabia making.
He was holed up in Atlanta making trash.
And he came out.
He been holed up a lot of places not making good music,
Okay.
Ron.
The last album, the record I heard was that Bianca Sensori joint that he did on Alex Jones's podcast. That was
If it happens,
the Donny Hathaway sample.
if
That
it
was
happens, I'm gonna eat it.
great. Was that song not good?
It's good. Where the album?
It's coming, man.
It's not gonna be any good.
It's coming.
It's not gonna be any good. He hasn't made a good album in a long time.
Don't you worry, it's coming.
What the Life of Pablo? No, the Life of Pablo is good. He hasn't made
He's
anything.
working with Ty. It's a joint album, another joint album with Ty Dolla $ign.
Okay,
It's coming.
it's not, and it's not gonna be that good when it does come.
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
No, remember we had this talk when I tell you this album's not gonna be that good. I'm so sick of you and Mike D and this Kanye shit.
Well,
He has. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out when my
that's
daughter
a long
was like,
fucking time.
I don't even think my daughter was 3 yet. She about to graduate high school
Life
next
of
year.
Pablo was tight to me. It was tight.
God. I replaced Mike D with Mike D. I'd like to apologize to everybody.
The Life
More,
of Pablo was
stop
tight.
caping for Kanye.
The Life of Pablo was
I told
tight.
you I will cape for
The
Kanye.
Life of Pablo was tight.
I will cape for Kanye when it comes to these white people. I'm not caping for Kanye in these hip hop spaces.
Kids See Ghost was tight.
That's not his album. Because
The-
Cuddy's the main part of this making that album tight.
The Ye album was tight. The one that was
No, it wasn't. Free is tight. That's it.
what's the song he said?
I don't feel pain
Never Leave,
anymore.
Never Leave. I should never leave. The one like Kim.
It's not like that.
It's like that. It's like that. It's like that. We got active folks in the chat, man. What are they talking about?
They ain't talking about nothing. They probably laughing at
They
my
ain't,
ass
got a,
because
they ain't got a super chat. What are they saying? They ain't got a super
they saying the
chat.
same shit that they usually say when Kanye come on. Everybody knows I'm tired of y'all talking about Kanye in these music spaces like
That's-
Kanye is
that's
great.
okay.
Kanye hasn't done any great
I
shit.
was disappointed in West Side Gun's album. I was really disappointed in that shit.
I wasn't disappointed.
10 was so good. This album was whack.
Whack? I think that's a little strong.
It's not whack.
It's different.
mid.
He tried something different. He just didn't succeed totally at the trying something different, and the records didn't pop like they should. But there's some stuff on there. But I think West Side's album is kind of reflective of the year. The year just been okay. You know who shit is better than okay? That new Larry June.
Larry June. Nice segue. Larry June is so tell us about Larry June for the audience that may not know.
No. Everybody should know who Larry is by now. I mean, Larry's been repping the Bay. I think he's from Frisco originally.
Right.
He did a joint with Alchemist earlier in the year that is one of the better projects this year. This album is one of the better projects this year. It's way better than the Ross and Meek album. Like, way better. It's
Yeah,
like,
we were listening to it in the car, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, there's some good.
I'm going to keep name dropping
2
that.
Chainz had a verse in that joint.
He did. He had a stellar verse on that
It was
joint. I'm
crazy.
going to keep name dropping that Tessie that you pulled me up in with
And
your
it-
fancy ass.
You know, no.
Yeah, it's called The Night Shift by Larry June. How about this? I want to give it another spin, but I felt like this was an album of the year contender after listening to it today. That's
Right.
honestly how I felt. And that would give him 2 album of the year contenders in my mind. Like Larry June has made 2 of the 10 best rap albums this year. I got a cuz who kind of works out on the West Coast and does PR. And one of his former coworkers who does PR too was in town and came to see me at the restaurant. And her and our homegirl, and I used to work with her homegirl too. It's kind of funny. They all do art and PR and stuff. They were all into Larry June. And it's like, no, I see why. Like, Larry's got it right now.
Right.
It's like, so while we're sitting up here talking about this Ross and Meek album and what Ross is and what Meek isn't and what Meek should have been and what Ross used to be and maybe still can be, No, that Larry June shit, the night shift, that shit is here right now. Like my first take after hearing it was like, yeah, that's at least a 4.25, maybe a 4.5. I just need to go back and listen. You seen how them beats was dropping in the testing. I'm like, that's that West Coast shit that I'm talking about.
We need to pull up on Larry June. Shout out to Larry June. You and Mike D need to have him on the show. You know, we need to go. You know what we're going to need to do? We're going to go to South by Southwest. We're going to pull up on Larry June.
You taking us everywhere. You done took us to L.A. for a brunch and a breakfast that I don't want to go to, that we're not invited to.
We're going to take the fans. It's a breakfast. You just got to bite the bullet and eat the breakfast.
Do you have fresh fruit and fresh squeezed juice at the breakfast?
We're going to have pancakes.
This is not a fucking
chicken
Charlotte.
and waffles. We're gonna have
I can't eat that early in the morning.
Orange juice carafe with mimosa.
Is it fresh squeezed orange juice, Ron?
No, it's gonna be. They have fresh oranges in L.A.
They better. For how often the homies
say in California they got fresh squeeze.
They got fresh squeeze everything. But is it gonna be where we're at? I'm not going if there's not fresh fruit and fresh juice.
We're gonna be within the marathon.
I don't want no eggs.
We're gonna be on Slauson.
Bacon. Look here, last time I was on Slauson with my cousin, nigga got shot across the street while we was waiting on our barbecue.
We're gonna have security.
I don't need security. Coop don't do security.
We're gonna have.
I don't do security. I don't need security. I am who I am.
We're gonna.
I don't think they're gonna like my Jesus views and my Christian and my Baptist views.
We're gonna go to LA for the Grammys. We're gonna do that.
We can do that,
and we're going to South by Southwest. We'll pull up on Larry June. But I want to jump on that because Larry June has a dope album. Check it out. Back to duos. We listened to the 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne song. Long story short, what say you, sir?
Long story short, that's what the Meek and Ross album was supposed to sound like. Right. Like the joint that Wayne and Chainz just dropped. No, that's what we were expecting from the Ross and the Meek. So I think we might need to pivot our attention.
But it sounded natural. That shit sounded like natural. It didn't sound like it was just.
Well, here's something I don't think Ross and Meek thought about when they were making this project. What is y'all's chemistry like after being separated all these years? We just found out. Not very good. You know? Right. Chemistry matters. Back to James Harden. Chemistry matters. It doesn't matter if you can score 35 points a game for a season. It doesn't matter if you can average 13 assists a game for a season.
Right.
This man has led the league in assists and scoring multiple occasions. He's got an MVP award. He's the worst because he doesn't understand and value team chemistry. You don't fuck with the chem.
You don't force it either.
You're not supposed to force it. And so this Meek and Ross album, it doesn't sound forced, but the chemistry's not there. It's definitely like when you put it on, I was like, because I listened to the Wayne and Chainz joint, but it's like I've explained to this audience before, it's like you listen in 3 different phases, really.
Right.
And so listening to this in the second phase, after being able to digest the Ross and Meek a couple times, it's like, yeah, this is what we wanted from Ross and Meek. But we should have maybe never expected that from Ross and Meek about, like you said, this 7 years too late. Y'all done had a falling out. It's good to see y'all back together. I like to see brothers back together getting money. I like to see brothers building. Part of why I went on Rap Roundtable is to bridge the gap, pun intended. And bridging the gap is cool, but you actually have to execute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta make a record.
Records. They got some records on there, but you can tell that they haven't been around each other. And you can tell that Meek in a lot of ways is piggybacking off of Ross's steez, which is usually what happens when you deal with Ross because his persona, his voice, his delivery is so large. You know, he's a standalone figure, and not a lot of guys are standalone figures, but he's also a great collaborator. And so what I'm really disappointed in is the fact that you can tell that they haven't been around each other so long about how great of a collaborator Ross usually is. It's like, oh no, you can tell Ross done spent more time in the studio with a lot of guys not named Meek, you know? Right. And so I think Ross' stature hasn't changed, but I feel like Meek kind of did himself a disservice, and he might have to put out a project and a quality one, kind of wipe some of the taste out of people's mouth today.
Yeah, he needs to drop. But right now, I think the game is not checking for. Shout out to Ross though, because I saw on Rolling Stone he has a residency out in Vegas. Did you know that? At Dre's nightclub?
No, I didn't know that.
Ross is like
familiar with the nightclub, not familiar with his residency.
He has a residency, like a little small. I don't know if it's like an official residency. He's like Little John's out at like.
That's probably where James Harden is every night after the fucking Clippers lose. Yeah. He probably just hops on the 15.
They allowed him to go in Philadelphia, and it still wasn't good enough. You know?
Well, he's right off the 15 now. He can get on the 15 from where he's at right now.
A 4-hour drive?
Depending on where he's at in LA. Yeah. Just get on the 15. He can take a jet. He can take a jet.
Be there in 30 minutes.
Take a helicopter. Take a little quick red eye. But you see James more in Vegas than you will see him at the fucking ball game.
Well, maybe you'll see him in Vegas for the
Have
NBA Cup.
Have they won a fucking game since he's been there? Oh, shit is absurd, Ron. Some of the dumbest shit I ever seen.
Ty Lue, so they're figuring out their way. They trying to find their way.
Poor Ty Lue. We gonna pray for him.
He might get fired.
Man, I want the Nation of Islam and all my Christian Baptist brothers to play for that man. He needs all the prayers.
That is crazy.
He needs all the prayers. He has to deal with creaky knees, time management. He has to do with Paul George psychotherapy. Podcast P. Boy George. And his frail ass when it matters.
Who else they got?
You got Russell Westbrook.
They got
who think he ain't never done nothing wrong in life ever. He think everything is everybody else's fault. KD left me because it's KD's fault. KD left you because you can't shoot and make good decisions.
So they're not going to win. It's the Laker town.
What they winning? With creaky knees.
The NBA Cup. They're going to win the NBA Cup in Vegas.
Is Harden's number 15? Because that's the freeway he's going to be on.
Is he number 15?
He's going to be on the 15 going to Vegas. A whole lot. Nigga is whack.
But yo, man, it was fun sitting in the chair. Mike D will be back Wednesday. Anything you want to leave the people with?
I mean, if you want to talk about your show a little bit, I know I've been doing my promo run, so I've been on the Haters Ball. I did Rap Roundtable. I'm about to try to make time things work with Fresh Out. I know we wanted to jump on and get to the studio to do a fresh show just to kind of be consistent, kind of let the people know we're still here. Mike D will be back Wednesday.
Right. So my show is going to be, it's called the RKY Show right now. So if you want to look it up, I got a female co-host, my sister-in-law. We're talking about everything around the culture.
Right.
So we're talking about
So tell them the name that we're switching to.
We're switching to Pulse of the Streets.
POS.
And our POTS. POS or POTS, either one. But it's a female, so if you want to Google it right now on YouTube, it's called the RKY Show right now. We're going to transition it. Talk about the last episode we did was about Jeezy and the Along. That comes out on Thursday. We talk about, relationships.
Life and love.
It's my beautiful sister-in-law.
Is there any music involved? Are y'all doing any music
shit? We talk about a little bit of music. We talk about songs that people should like, good folks should like, but they shouldn't. So she picked like a ratchet songs. Like she picked like Twister and she picked like Akinelli, and I was like, oh my God, this is too much information.
Sister-in-law got a little thug life in her, huh?
I picked like, straight out of Compton, the Easy verse. You know what I'm saying? That's my verse.
Ice Cube's verse is better.
Yeah.
Ice Cube probably wrote Easy's verse too.
We talked about Ghetto Boys, we talked about horrorcore rap genre. So we talk about a lot of stuff. It's like a hip hop Regis and Kelly.
I like that. I mean, I personally, I'm not
Regis
gonna lie.
and Kathy Lee or some shit like that.
I'm not gonna lie, Ron. I was a little worried.
Right.
And then I started watching the show and I was like, damn.
Right.
This show good.
Right. We're gonna have mugs and shit. We're gonna dress in suits.
You gotta stop with this mug thing. Niggas don't use mugs.
Like branded mugs. These niggas drink Starbucks. They do.
No. Niggas no. I mean, personally me, I like a fresh espresso, a little lemon on the side. That's another conversation.
Bougie dude, man. I'm telling you,
nigga, I done made it. Fuck that. I want my espresso with a lemon on the side. Fuck that little cheap coffee shit these niggas is doing. No, here you go with this mug shit. What is it with you? What is it with you with these mugs, man?
Because we gotta sell some shit for the holidays.
Only mugs I like is DJ mugs.
We gotta sell merchandise for the holidays.
No. Let's get some Black Dad Gang shirts. Let's get some According to Hip Hop shirts.
We gotta get mugs.
Let's get some Pulse of the Street shirts.
Red cups.
Some All the Things shirts. We not doing no punk ad. You niggas is trying to sell coffee to what audience? What are we doing?
To this audience, they drink coffee, man.
These niggas do not drink coffee.
They
drink what's in this cup right now. They drink what was in your cup.
I got water in my cup. So.
You don't have anything in your cup, nigga.
I got water in my cup. But that's out. We're gonna shout out to Mike D. Hope all is well. Be back on Wednesday. Anything else? Cool. We good?
No, I think we good. I just wanted to pull up, talk the Ross Meek, talk chains, talk duos, talk about my appearance on the Rap Roundtable today. We're going to be back in our regular slot time on Wednesday.
7 o'clock Wednesday?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody, my team that's building all the things with me. Shout out to Todd. Urban Life Network is coming soon.
Sneak preview, the RKY show, if you want to check it out. 7 qualities of a good woman with C. And then changing the name next week, Pulse of the Streets.
I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you. I told you it's hard. Like for me, I've been on stage my whole life. Like I've been reading Bible verses in front of the church since I was a kid. I've been on stage multiple times, multiple ways. I've always had kind of like a big personality, even though my origination here was behind the scenes. And so like I do want to like, you know, give you some props for making the transition from the back to the front. Glad to have you. Going to be bringing you and your sister-in-law in on all the things. We can do some cross-pollination and some segments. And, you know, shout out to Mike D. He'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to kind of do a recap. I know he may want to talk about the Rap Roundtable interview again. He might have a different perspective because we're just fresh off of it. Ron literally picked me up in the Tessie while it was still going on, so we're still processing some things.
Hey, man, I filled in. I wanted to do a show with you tonight.
Appreciate you.
Man, peace. Let's cut this off.
You're the producer. You're going to have to
I got to get up and cut it off. All right.
So back to your role, sir.
Back to my role, guys.
Thank you for coming out.
All right.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate y'all.